Hello and welcome to this new episode of Pedagogy Pods. Well, today we're going to try and spark something. What should we spark?
So there are very, very different ways to spark actually. So we're
Mhm.
going to discuss that today. So what I'm going to discuss is how to create a spark when the students are ready to learn in a new period. They're sitting a little tired and we need to create a spark so they're up and about and ready to learn a new topic.
Yeah,
Interesting. What about you?
we need how to introduce a chapter to students so that they'll get excited about what we are going to learn today.
That is
Because
true.
sometimes they're like boards throughout the day, they're sitting, maths class is happening, and suddenly you're coming to teach Hindi. And so, most difficult thing is when they're coming from sports class, and then you need to teach the language. Then you have to bring back their attention. How to bring back their attention in the most brief manner,
True.
because you have to save time also. You have a 40 minutes class, so how to do that?
Right.
Sounds very pressing. And let me ask both of them how are they going to do it? Because this sounds like a great problem to solve. Right, Jyoti?
Yeah. So what I'm going to, I normally what I do, and I love to do that is the concept of KWL. I'm sure all of you educators know about it. So obviously it matters. It differs where the classroom age group what it is. If they're younger students, we do a different type of KWL. First, I like to say what is KWL. K stands for what all you already know about a certain topic. What do you want to know? And the third is what have you learned at the end of the class. So that comes much later. So we start with first of all, to so that it's a very interactive class. We want to ask students what do you already know about a topic. For example, if it's a very young student, like a 4 year, 5 year old, or 6 year old student, so we want to like I've just kept it right here. The props are here. I want to show them an apple. Like what do you know about an apple? So they can just say verbally also, no, okay, I know apple is red color, I know apple is yellow color. When we cut it, it's inside white color. And then we'll go to next step. What do you want to know about it? So it makes them think basically, they are busy thinking now. What more do they want to know about apple? So where is it grown? What weather it grows in? And where is that place in India? How many places in India? Of course, outside India also, but they're much younger students, so they will not go that far. So things like that, it forces them to think what more I do know, I want to know about Apple. And then of course it comes later, like what have they learned at the end of the chapter. That's how I would like to start my class. And I'll come to older students later.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know what? Very interesting. What if you were to show an apple to a child who was like about a nursery, kinder or one, and you ask them, what is it that you wonder about it, or what do you want to know about it? The first thing that comes to my mind is child will be blank. And how are we going to prompt? What is your next prompt? Are we going to pause over there, or are we going to really prod? What if I don't have a response, Jyoti? What do we do?
I feel we need to give them time, and also we need to give them little prompts. Where do you think an apple comes from? That's the biggest prompt. They say, okay, it comes from a tree. I think that they have. First, maybe some small kids might say, from the market. It comes
or
from the
maybe
market.
or maybe nanny house, because we
That's
all
true.
have orchards back home. We have some kind of a little garden back
Gardens,
home, and
yeah,
children love sharing that. But as innocent as the response might be or not be, you're at least getting them to think in that direction. That's most
exactly.
important,
Yeah.
and igniting their thoughts is what's most important. So wonderful. KWL with the young ones, it's going to be so interesting. Can't wait to see one of the classes. Meenakshi.
It was very interesting when I was hearing about KWL. Uh, I think it's the same in classes, but I always find it very convenient to take something in class before starting a chapter. For example, Hindi idioms, muhavras are very, very this thing difficult to understand for these kids. And when I need to expose them to muhavras, I take a picture, and that picture is like that picture is somebody is putting this thing sky on his head, और उस मुहावरे को क्या कहते हैं?
I know which one this is. You know
आ,
where this is going, right?
तो
सर पे आसमान उठाना.
सर पे आसमान सिर पे उठाना, तो बच्चे जो है कुछ देर सोचेंगे क्या है क्या नहीं है, बट देन यू कम टू द टॉपिक दैट हम किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, और इसका बच्चों से ही ये निकलवाया जाएगा कि ये क्यों इतना इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है, इसकी क्या जरूरत थी, किसी भाषा के लिए इसकी क्या जरूरत है. तो दीज पॉइंट्स मेक देम रेडी फॉर द क्लास.
Right.
Visual connections and visuals are very powerful. Why do we put up boards all across
Boards.
our room?
Yeah,
That is to
classrooms.
actually ignite visual thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
To take them into a direction where pictures can actually ignite thinking or take them to a direction which is intended by
You're
us.
talking about the board. I remember a project we did with students. There was a grade ninth project, Bal Shram ke Upar, about child labor, which is a very serious topic actually. And what we did before the students come to the class, we put 4 5 pictures of some small kids doing something which evoke their mind this thing. Ki what is happening there? Why these children are working? What is the need of the children to work? And what should be done by that? So that topic already is there in their brains. Then we have a poem about that. बाल श्रम के ऊपर somebody has written कि
Interesting.
गेंदें कहाँ खो गई हैं, मतलब balls कहाँ चली गई हैं, बच्चों के खेलने के खिलौने कहाँ चले गए
Yeah.
हैं. So that poetry was introduced through that, and then they make a project about it.
You see how a
So
chain of
so chain
thoughts
of
has
thoughts.
been created over here. So, for a topic that are difficult sometimes to take up, such prompts work amazingly well.
Amazing.
I'll give you another example. Like if you remember in our fifth episode, Minashi had brought in this picture about pollution. Immediately it gave you an idea about what we were talking about.
Hmm.
And we did a complete picture analysis over there. So pictures are amazing way to bring in curiosity, to bring in to spark thinking in your classroom. Another way where I would say, I love doing this is, let's say this is my prop and I'm just going to place it. And yes, I believe in inquiry based learning. Yeah. I don't say any topic or any, they know I'm teaching, mathematics today or I'm teaching language today. So taking from you from a language class, if this was kept in front of you, it'll be very obvious that I want you to write something about it. What if I make a twist and I say, there's only as much space here, but there is a papaya waiting to get into this glass globe. How do you think you will fit it in? Now, I have intrigued them about this whole piece. I have told them how they different things should coexist and we can make an adjustment. I've also spoken about the volume, that is math. Look at the kind of space that is there in this container
Hmm.
and where can the papaya come and sit. Maybe it's not possible to fit it in this clutch. Maybe we might have to remove it, but some which way to fit in together. So I'm trying to drive a larger perspective and a larger thought over here rather than just limiting into a language class to say, look at it and write a piece or, just a composition looking at an object.
And
So
my thought going here is like, I'm looking at this wooden stand and I want to know how is it made, where is it made, what kind of wood has they used. So can we in the classroom make it? Can we have a project? Something on those lines. So it's something so different. Each student will think in a different way for the prop which is lying in front.
every brain ticking will have a different perspective to pick. Let's say
I'm
I
thinking we will cut the papaya and fit it in, or I'll bring a smaller papaya which can fit in.
Yeah. Or another thought would be a child would say, I think we can eat half the papaya and put half over there.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly. Or finish the orange and apple first and then put papaya
do
inside.
you see where this conversation is going? From a language class, it just went into many directions, blurring the lines of the subject areas. But an object is just a provocation, it's just a thought initiator, and you can take it in any direction possible. There are structured ways of bringing in this thought process as well. There are, five W's in a how. There are, think, pair, share activities. Then there are so many. I'm sure, you both have. And I know
Yeah.
Jyoti used to deal with five W's in a how in a very interesting manner in her class. I'll let her speak and then I'll come.
Yeah, that was super interesting. And the kids were the moment the kids saw a dice, they're as it is ready to play a game.
Yeah.
So we have a dice with five W's and an H. So it's like five W's when, where, what, when, and then H is how, where, and then you throw the dice, and the kid has to, and the one by one, the students have to pick, what they want to say about the topic. Do they want a what of a topic, or a where of a topic, or a when of a topic? So it's very interesting. They're very intrigued and they want to participate in every possible way. So that's a very good way to bring the whole class together, make it interactive, and nobody is distracted. So I love that part, how they went about it, and that anything small topic, like even taking the stand or a cloche or a fruit, or just put a flower there or a plant there from your nature trail. So you can put anything and start talking about different uh, variants of that topic, whether it's a when, where, how,
And it
and
will
what
automatically bring so many questions in the classroom.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's you start, that's how they start thinking.
Thinking, yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? Dice is just a medium, but the dice could actually take shape of anything. It necessarily does not have to have numbers. So even if
Yeah.
I'm a math teacher, I don't have to put those dots all the time. I could be putting in Roman numbers so that they may connect with different topics. That's like spiraling into your own knowledge. So spiral learning is something that is very important. Spiraling into your prior knowledge and then moving forward into what you're going to learn, right? So I could have numbers, I could even have shapes, on those dice. And I
Yeah.
could say, go ahead, match the shape for my younger ones, match the shape in the classroom, find out shapes that can match the shape and bring it here, 2D shapes, 3D shapes. I could even put, in my language class, I could put nouns and verbs, and I would say, roll the dice, make a sentence. I could even have three, noun, verb, and adjective, or an
Yeah.
adverb as well. So parts of the speech is something that I could do using these kind of dice. A dice can take you many places, and I've used them extensively in my class, and I hope you're doing that too. If not, do try these. And now
I have sometimes
yeah,
used
she's
riddles
brimming.
also.
Yeah, she's brimming to share hers, so I'll let her speak. Please go ahead.
Sometimes I have used riddle also to reach a topic, and that is most interesting for students because they love riddles. तो उनको whenever I'm for example choosing some topic, and I'll bring the riddle about that topic only, so they can connect to the chapter. That's a very very short time. It takes
Takes
only
about
2 minutes
2 minutes.
of your
Yeah.
class, but the energy of the students comes to you. They are totally into the chapter. So many things are actually coming to
Wonderful.
my brain.
Love that. And I did something very similar, Meenakshi. So we went on a nature trail and we all go on a nature trail. And please, when you go on a nature trail, have an objective in mind. So when we design these lessons, we always encourage that each time you go for a nature trail, have an objective in mind and share that objective with children so that they know what they're observing. Otherwise, out in the garden, you will ask them to observe leaves and they will be looking at the grass
Different
and they would be
things.
looking at the
Yeah.
insects, butterflies, and everything apart from what you want to focus on. They need to do that. So free form of thinking is important, but a focused format is also important. So give them both the opportunities. But coming back to what I was saying, so coming back from the nature trail, I just picked up a piece, a twig actually, and I put it on my board. So I said, what do you think it is? Actually, I found a toothpick, not even a twig. I picked up a toothpick and I put it on the board. And naturally, everybody will say, ma'am, it would have fallen off the tree. And I said, but it's too, it's too smooth to have fallen off the tree. Have you ever seen a twig that would be that smooth? And then we spoke about different textures of twigs. And then we tried to track down. And then, someone obviously will come up to say, ma'am, maybe this is a toothpick. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that is a toothpick. But does it really need the wood piece need to go to a factory to become a toothpick, or can you just pick it up from the nature and start eating using those?
Yeah.
Wow.
There comes hygiene, there comes health. So you can talk about so many things. Yeah.
A
And a
small
small
toothpick
toothpick
can
can
become
become
such
such
a
a
thought
thought
Topic of
provoking
provoking.
topic.
absolute topic of discussion to initiate talks and thoughts in so many directions.
And I think we need to bring variety also, Jyoti. Don't you agree with that? Because every time when you go to class, children are looking for something very
Yeah.
interesting. So,
Every
so
time we need a new method. You
new
can't be
math.
using this to create a spark every time a new method. We need to have a new method every time to keep the spark
Absolutely.
alive.
You see, students have been going through a long day, 40 minutes after 40 minutes, and the
Hmm.
topics keep changing, and there is hardly any connect in those topics. So, when things are so random, I think every few minutes, I mean, even if I ask you to sit still, like right now, if you would have
Yeah.
seen us since the podcast has started, we would have shifted and, changed and, allowed others to talk, and we are listening to each other. But if I were the only one who were to talk and they were just listening, they'll get bored. And this
Yeah.
is hardly a few minutes, and we're talking about 40 minutes.
They need to participate.
To keep them engaged, you
Hmm.
need to have a spark for them to think, for
Hmm.
them to do something rather than us doing something to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
need to have the ownership of their own learning, actually. They need to take it
absolutely.
forward. That's what, otherwise, if they say the teacher is just the sage on the stage, it doesn't work like that,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
You have to be like a guide on the side,
Yeah.
facilitating
Yeah,
learning. That's about
that's
it.
Yeah,
that's very.
and there are such beautiful models of blended learning, flipped learning, thinking routines. making thinking visible. So many models for you to pick from. We just have initiated one thought today
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
a spark is very important, a provocation is very important. And then actually, you did something beautiful in one of your flipped learning classes. Talking about Muhavra, we started with Muhavra. Now I'm coming back a whole circle, and I'd like you to share with everyone what did you do in flipped learning with your Muhavras, which were very difficult for students to actually learn, grab, and recall and remember.
I made a sway.
Mhm.
And in sway, I put different kind of pictures of the muhavras, and the students had to find out which muhavra is this. And then I asked them to use them, the muhavras, in their sentences, and then they weaved a story around those muhavras.
Nice.
And I took only 5 6 muhavras,
Yeah.
but then they will remember it for lifetime.
Yeah, the picture stays
Absolutely.
in the mind
Pictures,
all the
and then they
time.
used it also.
You remember
Yeah.
how she portrayed the whole picture of a man holding up a hand and clouds on top, and she could immediately come up with the muhavra. So it's
Yeah.
basically making a picture connection. And she did something beautiful over there. And what she also added in that sway is a form of a presentation tool. It's an online presentation tool. And what she did was she also gave them certain muhavras, and she said, now find a picture to match. Do you remember? Find a
Yeah,
picture to match this
match
muhavra.
this
So
muhavra. Yeah.
whether you're doing idioms or anything that any concept that you find a slightly dicey or slightly heavy, ask
Yeah.
them to get involved, ask them to show their thinking so that you know exactly what level of thinking they are at,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I like to clarify also, no, some there might be some gaps for people where they don't know what exactly is flipped learning all about. So in flipped learning, we actually give a topic, whatever topic we're to study, we just give them the content beforehand. If I'm teaching the topic tomorrow, I'm going to give them, like she did, the pictures of Mahavras. If I have a topic of photosynthesis or volcanoes or any other topic, I'll give it to them today itself, or give them the chapter to read or a presentation to share. And the next day, we they have learned the basic content, and next day we make the classroom much more interesting by discussing what they learned, or what they want to know more about it, or what are the doubts, or they want to talk more something one topic in detail. So the flip makes it very interesting rather than just plainly reading the chapter and doing the question marks at the end of the day.
Beautifully explained,
Yeah.
Jyoti. And this is also a way to get them immersed or engaged in that topic and to place the trust in their ability to know about that topic and share
Exactly.
with us. And they're so enthusiastic to share that I already know this much about the topic.
Yeah.
And that's where you start from. So I hope today, from our conversation, we've been able to give you some idea about, what is the place of a spark or a prompt in the classroom, and this will go a long way into creating an interest or a deeper learning to happen in your classrooms. And in the podcast to come, we are going to dwell deeper into certain models and share with us what we have to share, and we really look forward to hearing back from you as well.
Your experiences, your questions are always welcome.
Everybody's experience counts.
Counts.
Every
Yeah.
classroom is different,
Yes.
every set of students are
Hmm.
different, isn't it?
Yeah, and please comment if you like to know something more about a particular topic. We're happy to share that in our next episodes. So please do comment and share. Thank you.
And with that, thank you so very much. We'll see you next time. Thank
Thank
you. Bye
you.
bye.